Hello everyone. Good evening. भाई ठीक है. I know it's post lunch time and you all had a long day. I'll try to talk about a very interesting thing which is going on across the globe, and I think it is much needed for we as Indians because as India is leading this thing in terms of this. My name is Akash. I'll cover a glimpse of this. I also mentor for Google for Startup Accelerator. It's a 8 weeks program. And I focus more on Europe and Middle East and North Africa because before this I was running my own company which was in Netherlands. So that's why I started focusing on this. Um, it's cool. So this is a picture from the Goa Community Summit. So all the people you are seeing are GDG leads from all across India. I used to work with the same team before till 2017. And we were running this community, so you will find Mahavir Mutha, who's running GDG Pune, and Pranoti over there in the second row in that blue jacket. So community has been very close to my heart. Like I've been in the industry for almost a decade, and I've been learning from the community and try to contribute to that. This is a glimpse of things I do across the ecosystem globally. I work in the open source dev community space. And I've been designing programs, upskilling initiative across different industries. This is a glimpse of some of the programs I was doing long back. I tried putting Google ones because it would be more relevant to the community. WTM program, when Sundar came to India after becoming CEO, I was hosting this thing back at IIT Kharagpur, and there was this Android developer certification and all I was leading. This is something I've been doing in last 5-6 years because I was very curious कि हम इतना सब tech बनाते हैं, how to get it implemented at scale across geographies and all that sort of thing. And that's why I started getting deeper into different ecosystems, tried understanding if you're seeing UN and all, how this tech policy gets formed, how these things at scale happens. This is the other side of me, which continuously drives me and motivates me to do different sort of things. I'm a lifelong learner, which I consider myself. I love traveling and knowledge sharing, which I'm doing right now. Basically to bridge the community gap or the knowledge gap from the people who have it to people who need it. And this is majorly from the innovation side of things. I was running different side of like how from idea to product, things comes into the fruition. So from startup innovation sector, you see I was doing things in China with expat co-founders back in Warsaw in Poland with a startup accelerator. So that's a glimpse of my innovation side of journey. Now let's come back to the topic, which is all about protocols. Can anyone tell me what protocol is? Set of rules. What's the protocol behind this? HTTP. This one? SMTP. This one? Cell phone communication. What's the protocol being used behind this? It's GSM. So yes, you are right. Protocol is a set of rules which enables two machines to communicate with each other. Internet, and these protocols are like open. So internet got formed because of the HTTP, which is an open protocol. Same thing with email. Through email, like from any Gmail to Yahoo or Hotmail, we are able to send email. So in simple language, if we say protocol is like a language or a dictionary, where if anyone knows that particular language, can communicate. Same thing goes with GSM. I'm using Airtel. Someone else in US is using AT&T. Someone else is using, say, Jio. Call goes through because globally, every telco operator in the world agreed that we will use GSM as a protocol to communicate with each other. Protocols are interoperable and open source, and that enabled innovation across sector. Internet became so huge, if it remained private, then you won't be seeing different innovations happening. But there's a global shift in market happened. From these protocols being open ecosystem, things change into siloed ecosystem. And that's how we all use different apps. Digital transactions are happening where there's a particular platform for any particular service that matches demand and supply. So that platform creates a demand side of app and a customer facing app. Say Uber has got a driver app and there's a customer app. So everyone said, leave the common language behind this open, interoperable. Now we create our own language and we create our own platform. And that happened across different sectors, right? From e-commerce to food delivery to hotel booking, mobility, all the things we are using in our day-to-day life. And that's how the steps looks like. If that's the aggregator model of platform business. And there's a challenge in all these platform business, if we'll see. it leads to fragmented and siloed ecosystem. I was talking about internet, open, email, open, GSM, sub calls पे बात कर रहे हैं, but then apps, and it's a global thing. I landed up in France, I don't know which app to download. उनका कोई local language में कोई ऐसा app होगा. Data privacy and security. At times apps take a lot of data, we don't know what all things are, and approval and all happens. Regulatory challenges. So, to give you an example, say a mobility app is charging today 30%. Tomorrow they say like, oh, 45%. No, it's raining in Pune, let's charge 60% hike. But the driver gets only the X amount which is agreed to. So those sort of things became a regulatory challenge for governments to monitor. It also limited choice and competition. Say an app has got a lot of funding, so they started putting in, and then small players feel hurdle to start their own companies or startups or businesses. And platform lock-ins also happen. Very interesting factor. I am a driver on, say, Uber. I drove for like 10 years and I got like 4.9 rating and all. Tomorrow, due to some reason, my account gets suspended. So again, if I want to start on another platform, those 10 years went in vain and I have to start again from zero and do things around. So these are like challenges of platform-based economy. So the people was sitting in the room, and these are like the set of people, Nandan Nilekani, who's the co-founder of Infosys, who built like Aadhaar, UPI, or basically all the tech infrastructure of our country, FASTag. And there's another guy, Dr. Pramod Verma. So they thought, can we use open protocol for digital economic transactions? So that's how these things got broken down. All the aggregator models gets divided into 4 things if you see. Anything we do, and anything in all those processes we are doing, first is like we are discovering things. Once we discover any item, we order. Order gets fulfilled. You see all the breakdown of different parameters which goes behind ordering as well. Fulfillment and post-fulfillment. So that's how the entire model of this aggregation got divided. And it has been used across several sectors. This is just few of them where we dissected and things are happening. I'll cover some of these in our coming slide. So this is how, if you see from mobility to logistics to healthcare, we are discovering something, we are ordering, order gets fulfilled and post-fulfilled. And that's where Beckn was born. So Beckn is a common language. It's a free and open source specification that when implemented allow 2 platforms to execute peer-to-peer transactions, which involves all these 4 things. So Beckn is a language for discovery, order, fulfillment, and post-fulfillment. So basically, it's an economic resource discovery and transaction protocol. It's open source, so anyone can join the Discord and do things around. I'll share the QR later. So all the platforms you are seeing, which were like different apps, different languages, different things, which are not interoperable, doing their own things, if they use Beckn, everyone can communicate with each other. I'll give you examples in the coming slide. The architecture of Beckn looks like this. So there are 2 layers. One is transaction layer and infra layer. There are gateways and network registries. And there's an application platform. Application platform can be any app where this can be integrated. And there is a provider platform. Say if I'm selling seats, if I'm a small shopkeeper selling stationery items, so I can register myself as a provider platform, and anyone search can do this. So all the 4 things which I mentioned, discovery, order, fulfillment, and post-fulfillment, are divided into 10 requests per callback API pairs. And you can have a look at that. It's available on the GitHub. Schema. So all the data which is going behind this peer-to-peer transaction looks like this. Primitive schema, which includes GPS, contact, and all. Low-level schema, which includes person location. Mid-level is this item, fulfillment, what you are buying, and all. So we have dissected this entire process of digital economic transaction, and the top level schema, you can have a look at this catalog, order, context, and all, in which sector it is. Communication is very interesting. If I search for something on this network, it could be anything across sectors. Search goes through all the providers which are registered on this. Once it matches and I agree to, its a callback happens. And then there's a peer-to-peer transaction started happening between this. And then there are these independent callbacks where this live location tracking and all those things happen. Rating and post-fulfillment. So let's see what all things are happening globally. This is a glimpse of all the things we have dumped across. From all over the world, we are doing this. Some of these logos might be familiar, some might not be. There are startups, incubators, VCs jumping into this and helping out startup founders or any idea which is building on top of this sector. There are open source communities. ThoughtWorks is involved, a School of Accelerated Learning. There are communities locally developed in Brazil and all doing things around. And there are several governments and NGOs you can have a look at and across different countries. These are some of the live networks globally. It's in 16 countries. There are several live networks. ONDC, how many of you have heard about ONDC? Wow, almost everyone. So Beckn is the protocol which is fueling ONDC as well. There is similar thing known as Namayatri. I'll cover that. Honest is a network like ONDC, but for education. So all your scholarships, jobs, internships, everything would be on a single network that can be integrated, say, in future to your DigiLocker or any app, and you can discover things. Same thing is happening with unified health interface. Energy, there's very interesting set of things going on, and then across the globe, in Brazil, Gambia, there's an open network opened in Nepal as well in the last few months. Vistar is an open network for agriculture. So seeds, fertilizer, weather data, crop patterns, everything is on a single network. I'll show you how AI plays a role into that as well in the coming slides. And the same thing is happening in Kenya, Guinea, and all that. This is a glimpse of how things are happening globally across different sectors using this open protocol. ONDC, we talk about, if you're using Ola, you can see in the hamburger menu, there's this food history thing, which opens up this ONDC catalog, and even say small shopkeeper, which is running. The interesting model is that there's no commission between, so the entire money goes from if I want something from this network to the person who's providing that service. Same thing goes with Paytm. If I search on Paytm ONDC, and there are different catalogs which are open for food, grocery, shopping, electronics, beauty, and all. So that's how certain stats. So ONDC is live in 616 cities. There are 7 lakh plus sellers. There are 117 live network participants, which includes like seller platforms, logistic platforms. So now everyone is using the same language. My job is only to sell this item, not to figure out the logistics behind it. So there's a different logistic company which integrates into this. Even customer care, there's a different independent company which is taking care of the customer resolution, which is also using the same protocol, can integrate and do things. And that's why order gets cheaper as well. So 100 million orders happened. There's an example of this. I was going through LinkedIn, someone posted about this. So if I need a helmet, if I order from a large e-commerce player, it gets from a certain warehouse to a different city to say Lucknow if I order something at my home. So it goes to 3-4 cities and then it reaches me. So what if I need it from a small shopkeeper which is next door? So the discoverability becomes easier, so you can see it shows the distance and all. So there's one of the providers, My Store, they have listed on ONDC. There's another app, Namayatri. How many have heard about Namayatri? So it's now in 13 cities. The users you can have a look at, like it keeps on updating. The best part of Namayatri is if any one of you do a quick Google search, if you search Namayatri open, you can get access to this open data. So even the granular in a small community, locality, you can see how many rides are happening, how much those auto drivers are earning. The model is different over here. This new protocol thinking evolved a very different business model here. So now they don't have to pay 30% commission on every ride. They have to pay a single 25 rupees per day, that's it. And they can do this thing. And this is the number, I think, in last 20 months, almost 2 years now. Namayatri got started last year. It's in 13 cities. So you can see the numbers right in front of you. So everything is open source. You can download the data and tinker around with that. So they have also raised few months back 11 million more from Bloom Ventures, Antler, and Google. So that's why there's a huge ecosystem support as well in terms of if you're building things. There's another group of people, very interesting guys in Ahmedabad, Namayatri. Last year it has been running in Bangalore. They were like very fascinated about this idea. So these guys started talking to auto drivers in Ahmedabad. And they were doing this Roji Roti Bachao Andolan. They don't want to give huge commission and all that thing. So they said, like, why don't we create something for a local city? And that's how Vayu got born. Vayu is another app which is running right now only in Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar. And the benefit you can see, it first of all says no commission fees, increased ride booking and all that. It's been 2 months. I was getting their data. I met the guy last week in Ahmedabad. And he said, he has shared the dashboard. This is an older screenshot. In 2 months, they have got like 2,000 drivers onboarded on their platform organically. So all these people are registering because those people are also, they want the entire money. Why to give commission to some companies and also this is the current status of Vayu. They are in Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar and organically it's happening and they are like very happy. So in Uber, like this mobility model as well. So it started with this Beckn's first pilot happened in Kochi. So it started with Kochi Open Mobility Network, then ONDC is born and all. So there are different things. Namayatri started in Bangalore. Kolkata is doing something similar known as Yatri Sati. In Ahmedabad is Vayu. Same thing is happening in Hyderabad and other cities as well. There's another thing happening is known as UEI. It's similar to UPI, but for energy. So it's a countrywide open network where all your EV chargers, power grids, and battery swapping infrastructure is on a single network. So it doesn't matter which company's EV charger. As a rider, if I have got an EV car, I need to charge my car in this premises. So I just put it over there, and then I get all the charging providers which are available on the network. The other thing is, say if I want to sell my solar power energy from solar panels, I can do the transaction right on the WhatsApp as well. So there's a WhatsApp bot, you can sell your and buy your energy, and you can discover EV chargers and power grids and all that through this. And the pilot has been running in last 8 to 9 months. There are 13 lakh transactions happened on this network, and different states are encouraging different. And this is not something, if you have been thinking, oh, it's a government thing and all. It's not. Different EV charging companies came together because everyone are like siloed, reaching out to different customers, telling them to download app. They all came together and said like, oh, let's form this consortium known as UEI, and let's do things. And that's how Open Network for Energy was born. Nikhil Kamath tweeted a couple of weeks back about like how UEI can become the next big thing after UPI. So this is something which is happening in India. Skilling, I was mentioning you about, same thing is happening. ONDC sort of model for education is known as Honest, which is Open Network for Education, Skilling and Transformation. So everything has got a sandbox, a GitHub page, and you can see all the network participants which are part of the network, and you can play around with that. And everyone has got a community as well. So I was just checking before coming to the session, I was just checking the Discord on education platform. Someone is asking something. In mobility, someone from Brazil is asking, I want to make an open network for boat. So he has got certain boats and he wants to do this. So I just, and Namayatri's GitHub is also open. So I just replied with, hey, here's a Namayatri GitHub, have a look at that. Similar thing is happening in educational academic research as well. So in July, we have opened a lab at University of Cambridge to let other people know about the things which are behind this, how economy gets transformed and all. It has got a blockchain use case as well. For if you're doing energy transactions, you have to validate this energy. So with Solana, one of the blockchains, we ran a hackathon. Namayatri is also exploring blockchain use cases. Yatri DAO, Yatri token, can we do these things? And also, they are like different hackathons which are happening where people are experimenting and innovating what next can be done. Let's talk about AI, which this session is. So with AI, the interesting part is that like anyone can ask agent about anything and say if from here, I want to go to Gateway of India and say I want to stay at Taj. I just tell AI, hey AI, I'm at this hotel in Pune. I want to go to Gateway of India and want to see XYZ museum and book my stay over there. And AI figures out everything and say I have an EV car or I want to book a car. Since everyone is on the same protocol, all different providers, it aligns everything. I have to just do one click and do the payment. And everything gets booked. I don't have to do several bookings, different accounts, different apps, and all that sort of thing. So this is how AI plays a role in your local languages. You can integrate any of the things. A couple of months back, we did a gathering, one of the first gatherings at IIM Bangalore. We used ChatGPT for ordering books. I'll show you Google's demo as well, where in Google we have showcased how you can do energy trading using WhatsApp. So you can use ChatGPT, Perplexity, Bhashini, Gemini, and all that sort of thing to do this particular thing. With Beckn and Gemini, and one of the reasons I've been here back in the GDG community after a long time is at Google for India, the Cloud MD launched integration with Gemini and Beckn. So anyone can use these models, and the search result comes from Beckn as well. This is a glimpse of that. I'll play this video later on. With Google Maps, also EV charging stations were being enabled. I got to know about that a couple of weeks back. Same thing goes with public transport integration. So now you can book, because they have integrated this protocol, now you can book your ONDC enabled things on Namayatri app through Google Maps itself. With the initiatives I was talking about, Antler started one of the first accelerator with us, and people who are building things in that, they were like supporting the ecosystem. Google is running right now, Google for Startups AI Academy, and it's a three-day program. I was mentoring that, and one of the key focus area became DPI. So this sector is known as digital public infrastructure or digital public goods. And the beauty of that is, though it's one of the sectors, all these things, since I've already spoken to you about all these things which order discovery, order fulfillment, so everything fits into that as well. And when I was there, I met the same guys who were from Vayu. So this is the same app I was showing you from Ahmedabad. They were part of this cohort and they got different credits. And also there are these things happening. I think from tomorrow it's in Hyderabad, then it's in Bombay, Bangalore. So there are 3 cities which are remaining. So if you are thinking, it's not like you have to make a DPI first. But if you are thinking of you're working in any startup and you are thinking to integrate these things, you can also go for certain programs as well, which are currently running. Some other things, there's Nikhil Kamat's podcast with Nandan Nilekani, you can have a look at. He deep dive into all the things and tech and infra, how it gets formed, how this open source. We did something with AI use case, with decentralized AI kind of use case with this protocol back at MIT 6 months back. And this chat GPT thing I was talking to you about. The thing is, like Akash, you have told me so many things. I'm a student or I'm a startup founder working in fintech and all, how I can contribute. So there are these community calls and tech office hours which are happening every other day. So if you're on Discord or on our Twitter, you can get a look at that. There are hackathons at WinRooms happening. So we did a hackathon for ONDC with Google few months back. We are also planning another one in near future, next year. There are expert programs, there are community playbooks, starter guides, which I'll share in the QR. This is the GitHub. So if you want to explore and do things around for energy, protocol specification, AI, so that's the P2P AI agent on WhatsApp. It shows you a QR and then you pay for that. There are multiple things happening. There's another thing which I was talking to you about in energy side of things. If you are interested in tech policy or if you want to explore how things get implemented on ground, and since all of you are from technical background, I think that's also, you can enable a bridge between the governments and being an engineer, and it's an open source community. So community like GDGs and all, that's how it gets formed, where the knowledge exchange happens. So this is like few sectors in which we need volunteers. There's a global focus on DPI. There's a very interesting reel which Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation posted on Instagram yesterday. And they have been talking about this, global leaders are talking about this. It's one of the high priority agenda for G20, Commonwealth, UN. You talk about like all these things everyone is talking about. This is DPI, AI, DPG, AI and all that. So that's a glimpse. All these things are happening across different sectors. This is just a limited one. There are like endless possibilities. I met someone who's a director technical director for the Lion King movie. He worked with Hollywood for like 15, 17 years. He's like, Akash, can we make an open network for content? Because there's a lot of commission which goes behind these platforms. What if someone is creating a movie, the entire money goes from the person who's watching to the creator. So there are different things. These steps can be invoked into different. So it's a model of thinking. It's not like you have to download this app or you have to integrate. So it's the model of thinking of breaking these siloed business model and democratizing things so everyone comes on the same platform. So that's a glimpse of the session. I'll show you what we launched at Google for India. So you can scan the QR. And there's a link as well, if in case you are facing any error, it's linktree./Akash Shukla ji. Once you do, I'll give you like 10 seconds and I'll play the video. Once all mobile phones gets down, then I'll do the same. Done? Cool. So let me just show you some use case or some real use cases which are happening outside of this.
We believe that AI and DPI complement each other. Like UPI.
Honestly, UPI is just a proof of concept where payments are now flowing like water across intersecting rails which are actually creating additive value for the Indian economy. That is the power of protocols like UPI. ONDC is another great example. It's an initiative to extend the same paradigm to commerce. A Beckn protocol-enabled open network enabling millions of buyers and sellers to participate in online commerce in a completely borderless fashion. Both businesses and consumers benefit from open networks.
So let me just quickly show you a 1-minute video which summarizes all the things and how things are happening. And
हम खेत संभालते हैं, पर सच कहें तो खेती ने हमें संभाला है।
हमारे पिताजी ना साइकिल रिक्शा चलाते थे, तब हमने सोच लिया कि अब बड़े होकर हम गाड़ी चलाएंगे, ड्राइवर बनेंगे।
लेकिन दुनिया काफी बदल चुकी है। हम ही नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं। बारिश कब होगी, बीज कहाँ से लें, किस दाम में बेचें। पहले तो बेटा भी मदद कर देता था, अब वो भी शहर चला गया नौकरी करने के लिए।
मौका मिला था बड़े शहर जाके ड्राइवर बनने का, पर हमारी जिम्मेदारियां यहाँ थी प्रतापगढ़ में।
फिर एक दिन हमारा बेटा छुट्टी पर घर आया और हमें कहा सब कुछ फोन से हो जाएगा।
अब परिवार को छोड़ के तो नहीं जा सके, लेकिन ड्राइवर बनने का मौका खुद चल के हमारे पास आया। प्रतापगढ़ में ड्राइवर की नौकरी मिलेगी।
आलू सही दाम में कहाँ बेचे?
और फिर क्या, निकल पड़ी हमारी गाड़ी।
अगले 7 दिन की मौसम की जानकारी दीजिए।
टैक्सी के लिए लोन मिलेगा क्या? हमने जो कुछ मांगा उसने सब दिया। अब मेरे सपने भी पास हैं और अपने भी।
डिजिटल भारत एक बादल की तरह है और प्रगति तभी होगी जब ये सब पे बरसेगी।
So yeah, that's it from my end. Have a look at this video. It's out there public. You can see all the things which are being launched. And thanks a lot for being a patient audience. I hope something got into in your sectors you can explore. So thanks a lot. Thank you.